everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I've been married to a covert narcissist for almost 20 years. I'm separated from him now, and what I do with this channel is I use my real life experiences to get information out there to people about what narcissism really is, what it looks like, what it does to you, and what it does to your family. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the parasitic relationship between a narcissist and an empath. Narcissists and empaths really are opposite sides of the same coin. They both share a similar background. They grew up in a similar way. Neither of them had their emotional needs met as children. So people who grow up in emotionally abusive homes don't grow up to be thriving, happy, healthy adults. They grow up emotionally crippled. Oftentimes they'll turn into either an empath or a narcissist. So the empath and the narcissist, they start off similarly, but they grow up to become very different adults. Someone who becomes an empath is somebody that takes on the pain of other people. They give until they literally cannot give anymore. They're good people, but they allow themselves to be oversaturated with other people's emotions. It's a horrible way to live. What happens is that they are like a giant sponge and they'll just keep taking it in until they're basically drowning in other people's problems. A narcissist, on the other hand, is exactly the opposite. They don't take on anyone else's problems. They give people problems. So the empath is like this giant sponge. A narcissist is like a stone wall. They just deflect everything. All they want to do is take. They give pain into the world. The empath accepts pain. The empath essentially equates pain with love. You're not conscious that you're doing this if you're an empath, but this is essentially what happens. You have no idea of your own value. Of course, a narcissist also doesn't have any idea of their own value, but they overinflate their value. An empath underinflates their value. So what happens is these people go out into the world and they're drawn to each other because the empath wants to give, the narcissist wants to take. It's the most natural thing in the world. It's part of a symbiotic relationship. There are actually 3 types of symbiotic relationships. Parasitism is one of them. So we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to tell you what the other 2 be first. So the first type of symbiotic relationship is called mutualism. So that is when 2 species benefit from each other. Neither is harmed, both benefit from each other. So you'll see this in maybe see a documentary where you'll see a zebra walking around and it'll have 10 birds on its back. What's happening there is that the zebra has bugs on its back and the birds are eating the bugs off. It's not hurting the zebra, it's helping the zebra because now the zebra isn't itching. It's not being driven crazy because, obviously a zebra can't scratch its back. It has to roll around in the dirt and then it makes it vulnerable to predators. And of course, the bird benefits because it's eating. It gets a free meal. And it doesn't hurt the zebra for the birds to be on it because they barely weigh anything. So that is one type of symbiotic relationship, mutualism. The next type is called commensalism. This is when one species benefits and one remains unaffected. So you can see this when it comes to whales. If you picture barnacles all over a whale, now granted, I wouldn't want barnacles all over me, but it doesn't hurt the whale. The barnacle isn't feeding off of the whale. What's happening is the barnacle is feeding off the plankton in the water. So as the whale is swimming, the barnacle feeds. So the barnacle benefits, the whale is not hurt. That's another type of symbiotic relationship. Then, of course, we get into the one that people typically think of, and this is parasitism or parasites. This is what's going on with the empath and the narcissist. The narcissist is a parasite. It's feeding off of the empath. So again, to the animal kingdom or even to people, you see this with fleas and ticks. Your dog or your cat might have a flea or a tick on it. I had a tick on me last year. It happens to people too. Also last year, one of my dogs had a tick on them and it was disgusting because this tick, I didn't find it on my dog. I have big white fluffy dogs and I missed the tick on it and I found it on the floor. And I just see this thing on the floor and I look and it was a bloated tick. It was disgusting. So this tick essentially had fed off of my dog until it had satiated itself. Then it just dropped off. If I hadn't killed the tick, what it would have done was that absorbed all that blood and then went on to another host. That's what a narcissist does. They use a host. They use you, and then they'll move on to another supply. This is why narcissists are known to be cheaters, serial cheaters. They don't care about anybody. They don't have the ability to feel love, to give love. They can only take. So just like that tick used up my dog and then dropped off and was going to go to something else, that's what a narcissist does. It will use an empath particularly, because an empath is somebody who will take abuse. This is important to understand if you're an empath. The narcissist is using you. One of my daughter's friends told me the story, and it's disturbing and cute at the same time. So she was telling me that when she was a little girl, so she was like 5 or 6 years old, she used to feel bad for mosquitoes. So she would go outside in the summer and roll her sleeves up and sit there for a certain amount of time and let mosquitoes feed off of her because she felt bad. She's like, well, they needed to eat too. And it's kind of cute, but the reality is that's what you're doing when you're with a narcissist. You are essentially that little girl outside pushing up her sleeves, letting bad things feed off of you. Narcissists are users. The truth, though, and this is so crucial to understand, and this is really a main reason that I have my channel, is I really want to get information out there that I wish that I had when I was in the middle of my relationship. Narcissists are weak people. If you're in the relationship with them, you actually have all the power. Now, I understand for some of you, you might think, well, that is just not possible. It's not true. That's not the way it is in my relationship. Maybe it was that way in your relationship. It's always true. Narcissists are paper tigers. There's nothing beneath the surface. They're completely hollow. They have no emotional capability. They don't have any inner strength. The only thing that they can do is use other people. They really are parasites. You are not a parasite. So if we go back to that flea or that tick, all a flea and tick can do is use a host. That's all that they're able to do. They can't survive on their own. There's not another way that they can fill themselves. There's not another way that they can feed. They have to take from somebody else. That's all they can do their entire life. That's a narcissist. Their entire life, they have to feed off somebody else. They have to take from somebody else. It's important for us. It's important for us empaths. It's important for anybody in a relationship with a narcissist to understand this so that you can stop being a host. If you set up boundaries, you'll see what I mean. Now, my ex, I always believed when I was in the relationship with him until I ended the relationship, and I only ended the relationship because it had gotten so bad it was not possible for it to be any other way. I wish now that I had ended the relationship earlier because I was miserable in the relationship for a lot longer than I was in the relationship. It was bad for a long time. It was a couple of years that I was miserable in the relationship. It wasn't until I just couldn't take it 1 second longer. But I wish now that when I first started feeling this way, when I first started realizing that he was constantly lying to me, was constantly causing me problems, he was never going to change. I wish then that I had done something differently. So I want that for you. I want that to be your reality. People have said to me in the comments, or people have emailed me and said, wow, I can't believe you're in a relationship like this for almost 20 years. Me neither. So that's why I want other people to have it different. I want it to be different for you. You don't have to stay in this relationship. They have no power. Don't let yourself be fed on. The first step is to enforce boundaries. Stand up for yourself. And I know it's hard to do. Do this baby steps. Do it a little bit at a time. Have this as your goal. I'm not saying today you have to just step on that paper tiger, but I am saying today, please start realizing the reality. The first step is seeing the truth. If you're an empath, you're so used to giving. You're so used to letting people feed off you. Give yourself just a little bit of the love that you lavish on other people. You will see the difference everything can make. Now, recently, my ex wanted to come to the house. He wanted to come to the house. He doesn't live at the house. He wanted to come to the house because he wanted to bring some stuff over, and then he asked me if he could see the dog, one of our dogs. And so I said to him that no, I wasn't comfortable with that because I'm afraid of him. And I thought to myself at the time, all right, if this was me, if I really wanted to see one of my dogs, I think I probably would do what I had to do to see the dog. I would have tried to comfort the person who was afraid of me. My ex said to me, oh, okay. And I said, well, are you going to do anything about that? You said you want to see the dog. I don't understand. So I said, well, you know I'm afraid of you. We've been to a psychiatrist together. Psychiatrist diagnosed him with NPD and told him and me that he was likely psychotic. So when I tell him I'm afraid of him because of him being likely psychotic, having NPD, and also some things that happened that I don't mention in my videos, he refused to accept this. He just said, okay, and he just gave up. That's it. Haven't heard from him since. This is who this person really is. This is the person that I gave all the power in my relationship to. Every single bit of power. All along, there's no fight, nothing. He could only take. If you think of any predator, they go after easy pickings. If you picture a lion, a tiger, an alligator, they go after the easiest prey possible. As soon as the prey stands up for itself, they take off. This is what is really happening in your relationship with a narcissist. If you stand up, if you start recognizing the reality, they will drop away. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped. I hope it made somebody understand what I'm really trying to get across. If you are an empath with a narcissist, you hold the power. You can have a better life. You don't have to be in a relationship with somebody that's using you. Thank you for watching the video. Truly, I'm grateful for everybody who watches my videos. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all things related to narcissism. I accept requests, so if somebody has any video ideas, please throw them out there. And if all goes well, I will see you on Monday. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. God bless.